these are going to be my 3 best tips for you guys on actually how to invest. A little bit about myself. I am still 17, so there's still a lot that I need to learn, but I have been doing this stuff since I was 13. So obviously I do know a fair bit, and obviously I'm just trying to help you guys as much as I possibly can. And the first thing when it comes to investing, I think especially when you first start out, you want to reduce the amount of risk that you actually start with. I think there's quite a lot of hate towards something like the S&P or Nasdaq because obviously the returns aren't as good as buying individual stocks or crypto or something like that. But the issue what I had when I first started out, I went straight into crypto, and although I did do well, it was completely down to luck. I didn't really understand what I was doing. I simply followed what other people were saying, which is very risky, and I did end up losing all my money, to be completely honest. It went well at start, but in the end, I ended up losing, and that's what will happen. If you're going to take risk, it may work the first couple times, but if you don't actually have a plan or any idea of what you're actually doing, it's going to end up being bad, and you're going to end up losing money. So I think the best idea is, whilst you're still actually learning the fundamentals, and you mainly have a little bit to invest in, you don't want to discourage yourself by losing a lot of money. You want to put it into something safe so you can actually build it up and then kind of diversify your portfolio. So let's say you've managed to save like £500 up. You then don't want to put that £500 in stocks. Maybe you're able to deposit £50 a week at the start. You then want to maybe move that into some stocks or make a pie in a group of stocks to be even more safe. Reducing your risk at the start is such an important thing, that I think a lot of people nowadays, because obviously they've seen the stock market, seen the returns on individual stocks, but you're only seeing the positives. You're not seeing people actually losing money because of this and losing a lot of money. My second piece of advice for you guys, and this is something I've been told constantly, set out a plan before you buy anything. Don't buy anything without actually knowing when you're going to sell or anything like that. And I've been, I still make mistakes like this. I've bought a stock recently and I've said to myself, I'm going to sell at this price. This is when I want to take profit. This will be a good price for me to sell at. And as it gets close to it, I've got greedy and I've ended up waiting and obviously trying to sell at a higher price. And obviously, I've kept on waiting. I kept on saying to myself, it's going to go up, and it ends up crashing. And I should have just sold at the original price that I had planned on. And I think sticking to a plan is yet again reducing the risk. Although it does change, depending on the current scenario, there may be situations where you can just put a limit so in because you think the stock might go higher, just waiting on news. Yes, that's understandable, but I think sticking to your plan as much as you possibly can, yet again, will lead to positives in the long run. You may be lucky the first couple times because you don't sell or something like that, but in the long run, it's going to end up leading to you actually missing out on money or losing money. And my third tip for you guys is be patient. Investing, you're not going to get returns instantly. This isn't day trading. You're not going to make loads of profit on the first day. Your stock might be down a lot. That's just something you need to be patient. If you believe that a stock has got long-term potential, you're not worried about the short-term price. And this is what I say to myself. If I've looked over everything that I know about the company, I'm confident about the future of it. I know what the company's going to do. Why would I be bothered if it goes down a couple percent the next day that I buy it? If I'm down a massive amount, I just need to say to myself, in the long run, I believe this stock's going to end up going. I'm not going to sell now. I'm not going to panic sell. If anything, I'm looking to buy more. And this is where I've made a lot of my money. I've been down on stocks sometimes 40%, which is ridiculous. And I thought I was buying at a good price, but it's gone even lower. And whenever I can, I've deposited more money. And in the long run, I've been much better off because I've actually spent my time researching the stock. Obviously, now I've got faith in it. Buy the dip, and when it actually goes up, you're going to make a lot more money rather than panic selling. And I think a lot of people do this. You panic sell, and then the next day it goes up because it always feels like that. Whenever you buy a stock, it feels like it's just gone down straight away, or when you sell, it goes up. And that's why you guys need to be patient. I'm not suggesting you always buy the dip. There's certain scenarios you may have just got the company wrong. There may be massive bad news and they may not be able to recover. But overall, if you've done the correct research, you kind of know everything about it, you should be fine in the long run because you shouldn't be really investing, especially at the start, with just in the process of doing it over a couple days, a week, anything like that. You should be investing in the long run.